You're listening to the Brightline Broadcast, where we talk about investment real estate, business, and anything else on our minds. Our sponsor today is Brightline Property Management. Brightline Property Management is a professional residential property management company located in the Woodlands, Texas, serving the northern Houston area. Additionally, brought to you by Rentlyzer, the MLS-driven investment home analyzer. Produced at Studio 110 in the Woodlands, Texas. I'm Morgan Cole, and I'm going to be your host today. And I also have today with me John McMullen, who's a software developer that's been working with us for the past year, 14 months or so. Just working on whatever. So
Lots of software projects.
Yeah, we're going to visit with you about what we've been doing, and I'm really glad to have you here on our inaugural podcast. Yeah. I think that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you bet. And then we've also got Aimee Metzler here with us. Amy's our director of business development.
I am.
Yeah. So marketing is what that means. And then we also have Cole Lehmann. Cole is our property manager.
That's right.
Yeah. So going to be a good show.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to try to keep all this equipment straight and see if I can't get us going on the line, as Cole likes to say.
Yeah.
So okay. Well, so let me just make sure we got good stuff going on over here. If anybody sees anything not working, be sure and let us know. But we're live. So anyway.
Sweet.
Yeah. Well, what we created this podcast to be able to talk about Brightline property management and investment real estate and everything that goes into that. It's not about property management. We're not going to bore y'all with the details of how to evict people unless it's just an interesting show. I actually did a presentation one time in a networking group where no one had anything to talk about. And I was like, all right, I can talk about XYZ or I can talk about what happens when somebody doesn't pay their rent. And everybody was like, we want to know what happens when people don't pay their rent. So we talked about that for about an hour.
Those court dates are pretty entertaining.
They can be.
Yeah. If you don't have cable on your board, go to evictions court.
Yeah, they really can be.
Don't they have like whole TV shows about all that?
Well, yeah, like Judge Judy. Didn't she just retire, by the way? Like, isn't she out of the business?
How long has she been doing that?
I thought I saw something that she was done. I could be wrong. I could easily be wrong.
We should look that up.
Yeah, we should look that up. If only we had the ability to look things up.
I know there's technology or something.
Yeah. We need a director who can be like, actually, I just looked that up. She's off the air. So anyway, John, we brought you on the show to get you to talk. So why don't you tell us about yourself, how long you've been doing what you do, and give us a little insight into what went down to make this thing.
All right. Well, yeah, lots of numbers and code. I've been a web developer for, 20 years now.
Wow.
The older I get, the longer that number goes. But yeah,
how that works.
Yeah. And I work almost exclusively with startups and large software projects and things that interest me and I think are cool. I'm a big Dave Ramsey fan, so being that, I'm like, looking at real estate and stuff for my future, and it's been really cool being a part of this and building it out because just learning the whole industry has been incredible.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I didn't realize that you were so into that, but I mean, so really the allure of the finance aspect of this is what kind of really roped you in, huh?
Oh yeah. It's a great way to make a retirement happen and everything like that. So
yeah. Well, if you want to learn more about investment real estate, definitely tune in to future episodes.
Yeah, is there a podcast for that?
We're thinking about it.
Okay.
Yeah. My friend actually suggested that I put this together. So we spent the past 2 weeks, building the old studio here, and we'll probably use it again.
Yeah,
I think. So let's hope so. Yeah, that's the plan. But yeah. So we had John. You started in January of 2018 working on these projects for us.
Yeah.
And we worked on some just like internal programs that all they do is help us, sort out transactions and organize some things and just take care of whatnot. And then we had a whole side project we worked on. We can talk about another time. But Rentlyzer has been the main focus.
Yeah.
And Rentlyzer
has been awesome.
Also, when did we name that? I mean, Cole, it was
January.
Was it just the beginning of January we finally came up with Rentlyzer?
It was January.
Because we had our launch at Saddle River Range
on the 31st.
On the 31st of January, and we needed a name and a logo before that for the software.
We did.
And there's about 65 different names that are on the cutting room floor, so to speak. But
we had rental genius. We had
rental quest.
Rental quest.
Rental quest was a big one.
A leading runner for a while there.
It was.
I thought we were gonna bring it home with rental quest.
I did too.
That one didn't test well though, because everyone thought that it had to do with finding a rental house. I mean, that was the issue. So
live in.
So ultimately we settled on Rentlyzer, and I like it because, I like it partially because I was able to get Rentlyzer.com. Rentalhomeanalyzer.com was taken, and everything else in between.
Yeah, it's also kind of a mouthful.
Rentalhomeanalyzer.com.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times, everything's so visual, and it's not like you're ever going to see it just in like Times New Roman typeface where it says www.rentlyzer.com. You're always going to see the logo.
Yeah.
So you're going to know there's a magnifying glass, there's a house, and there's text underneath it that describes exactly what it does. So I feel like we did pretty good. Tell them who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
So anyway, John, let's show Rentlyzer. Let's talk about what it does. Let's explain to people how it, what it's useful for, and we'll dive into it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get you queued up here on the old laptop
screen up there. Yeah.
On the screen. Yeah. Okay. So John, you're live.
Yeah. So this is Rentlyzer. When you first log in and check it out, it will tell you, how many homes are currently on the market that we cover. And it'll go through and basically what it is, it'll take all those active homes that are in the MLS, and it will search based on certain parameters that you put in as an investor. So as an investor, I want a 25% down payment, my maximum investment to be $75,000, put in interest rates, what you want your minimum ROI and IRR to be, and all of those different parameters there. And from that, it will automatically search the MLS for you, so you don't have to go through and pick out random homes while looking at MLS and try to figure all that out yourself. So it searches those, it runs the calculations, and it returns results, and in a format that you can easily kind of get through and look at. And you can go in and kind of tweak the fields if you feel like the monthly rental rate is going to be a little bit higher or lower for a particular market. You can tweak those fields and kind of determine what you feel like this would look like as an actual rental, and go through, and it'll tell you your cash flow, your expenses, your rental income. But it does this all on the back end as well. While you sleep at night, it goes through and finds new homes for you and tells you what those homes are going to be the next day.
See, and that's amazing. I mean, I love the way it's automated. And, additionally, we're continuing to improve this thing and roll out updates. You've been working on it the past several days a lot.
Yeah.
And we have a laundry list of things that we're going to be doing to make it better.
Yeah. I mean, it's already a feature-rich software, but yeah, we're continually tweaking it, adding in more features, just making it easier to use for you, the end user. And then I know Morgan's genius in the calculator in the back end. we're always going in and tweaking that to give you the best results possible.
Yeah, that's really been a pretty serious endeavor basically I went to John and I said, look, this started out as something we were going to use internally for our real estate brokerage.
Yeah.
And I went to John and I said, look, this is a process that we go through, and we have an investor that comes to us and says, I'd like to buy a rental house and I'm looking to get a loan and I'm looking to put 25% down, and I'm interested in something that will cash flow, and I want to own it for 8 years, and I want it to be in this area, and I'm going to put no more than $75,000 down. So, we sit there and say, okay, well, $75,000 down payment, 25%, this is a $300,000 house. And then we say, okay, well, we need to be finding $300,000 houses that have a decent rental rate. And then we need to take into consideration a lot of things that don't always get taken into consideration, such as, what's the annual maintenance or capital expenditure is going to be. I mean, we're not going to replace the roof every year, but we might need to reserve every year for 15 years to be able to replace the roof. And your software takes that into consideration.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what's so cool about it, because it's really I think that for the experienced investor, it takes into consideration what they already know and they're expecting. And I think for the investor who's getting started in this journey, it's showing them some of the things that they need to be considering.
Yeah, exactly. So like a guy like me that doesn't know all the calculations and everything, I can just come in and plug in how much I'm willing to spend and whatnot, and kind of, get results, figure it out.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think that's one of the coolest things. I think that's one of the coolest things about this is that it'll work for anybody at any level.
Mm-hmm.
We would of course encourage everyone to learn about why we're reserving what we're reserving and understand what we're doing if they're going to be using it. But I think that, whether you understand it or not, it can at least get you in the ballpark.
Yeah.
So, John, do you want to show us, tip to toe how to, create a search and save a search and edit the numbers and how the, I don't know what all you've got working in the past several days, as far as
definitely,
communication dashboard, anything like that that's running, can you show that to us?
Okay. Yeah. So, if I want to come in here and, one thing that I haven't kind of quite touched yet on this is for realtors or, people just like me looking for a site. Realtors can come in and actually create certain searches, and if there's areas that they serve, they can search just those areas and have it show those results, and from there send those over to their clients and say, hey, I found this home for you. And they say, I found this home, the Rentlyzer found the home, they did the search for it, it did the stuff, but it's really a tool to help them find homes for their clients as well. But so inside of searches here, you can come in, you can actually draw outlines on a map, just circle an area if you'd like to circle an area. So I can look around the woodlands here. I got Egypt in there too.
Uh-oh.
I
think your map's kind of messed up if you got Egypt next to the woodlands.
Yeah. It's like Paris, Texas.
We may need to shift to Bing.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, gosh. Please, no. Don't get me started on the different maps here as a developer. Okay.
Yeah, I bet that's fun to keep track of.
But yeah, I can adjust my parameters inside of here.
Okay, so did you already click it? Don't click it.
No, don't click it.
Okay, so you have got this is populated with the default parameters.
Yeah.
By investor.
Right. When you set up your investor profile, you have a login for this thing, and it said, here are all the things that we generally use, and you said, great, I'll use what they use until I decide I want to change it. So you've got your down payment, your max investment, minimum price of $75,000. We've told it that we're looking for houses that have a minimum ROI of 10%, a minimum internal rate of return of 8%. We got your loan details there. We're predicting that the rental rate's going to grow. The expenses every year are going to grow. Taxes and insurance are going to go up. Average time between tenants, 8 days. That's kind of aggressive, John. You might want to change that to 45 days.
I need to get a realtor to tell me what that is.
Yeah. So, the idea there is that when a house goes vacant, usually the days on market, and not only just the days on market, but sometimes we have to spend a week or 10 days or something fixing it up before we can even list it. Anyway,
that might be why I have like 10,000 matches.
It probably is. Yeah, your vacancy's skewed. Lease commission, that's a percentage of the first month's rent. Average length of stay in years. I think we need to retitle that to months, but it's 24 months. Maintenance, we dropped the maintenance down to 5% generally, John. So I think you change that to 5%. Everything else looks good.
Yeah, I mean, the cool part about it is if you have an investor that is like, hey, I really want to make sure that I save up, put 10% down on the maintenance. I mean,
Yeah, but Cole, you and I have talked about this, and I think that it's important to not be you don't want to be overly aggressive on your initial search screen. We figured out we don't you could find a house that for whatever reason it's built in 1972 and you think that it's going to have a higher maintenance expense than the other ones. Okay, then bump it up, but don't exclude, don't put 10% or 15% or whatever you're going to put in there for one house, because then it might kick that house out and you never even be able to make that decision.
True. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like just, buying anything in general. Like if you want to buy a car that, you have $30,000 to spend, you look for a car that's $35,000.
You bet.
You want to haggle them down a bit and everything. You got to
that's exactly
bump it up a little bit there.
That's exactly right. So, okay, well, I like everything else you got going on there. So now what do you do?
All right. Well, let's see some search results.
Okay.
And it's going to search through our entire database of MLS active homes.
And we've got are we showing condos and things like that, or just single family houses right now?
Just single family houses right now.
Okay, so no leases, no land, just single family houses.
Correct.
We'll add condos in there, but I noticed there was 17,900 active listings.
Exactly.
And that updates.
It updates twice a day, every 12 hours per the MLS agreement there.
MLS agreement.
And I mean, even though we only have 17,000 active, there are over 35,000 homes in our database.
Wow.
So I mean, it stores all the history of them. So that is in future development plans, pulling history of homes. And
I love it.
What they do.
I love it. Okay, cool. All right, so we got some search results here.
We have some search results. Yeah. So, it'll show you your search results. There's 1,055 homes found in the geographic area. 75 of them match my criteria.
Okay.
So, from that, if I wanted to come in here and save my search results to come back and look at it later, I can call it the Woodlands area. I should probably do like the Greater Woodlands area because I got Egypt. So you go in there and you save your search. That search is saved. So now if I ever want to go back and see that search again, I'll just pull it back here. Got a Greater Woodlands area. I can click view results and it will pull up that exact same search and show me, any fresh and new results from it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So, have you been able to get it to email people yet, or is that not done yet?
No, the email is not in place yet.
Okay, but when that's
coming in the next week or two here.
Okay, but when it does, the idea, as I understand it, is that you will save a search, and then on a daily basis, after it's a database update in the morning. Is it then it says, okay, now I'm going to decide to send an email out?
Yeah. It'll do it every morning. We didn't want to do it every 12 hours because
Okay, so it updates at like 5 a.m. Central Time.
Correct.
So at like 6 a.m. or 5:01. I don't know how long it takes to update the database.
So we'll have a predefined time, to begin with, but it'll probably be something we'll set in there for you because I know me personally, like I want to get an email like 9:30ish
when your brain's running.
That's when I've had my coffee times two, and
yeah. Okay. Hey, how's that coffee cup working, by the way?
It's amazing.
The Ember.
Awesome. The Ember. Yeah. The travel Ember. I should pull it up real quick here.
So you should. So we got John. So Adrian, let's see here. I'm going to, so Adrian got me this coffee cup and it's called an Ember and it's battery powered and it charges off this little saucer. And, these things are amazing. Like it just keeps your cup of coffee at 130 degrees all of the time. So he got me one, and then I bought one for John because I know John's a big coffee guy. It'll last for 75 minutes, so you don't have to keep it on the charger. But like I've already had the thing off the charger for 75 minutes this morning. I feel like I need like 4 of these chargers so they can be everywhere that I sit down.
They need a car one.
A car charger?
Car charger.
We need to tell them to work on that.
I haven't told you yet, but I went into Aldi the other day and I saw they had these 2 travel mugs that plug into a USB and keep it warm.
Oh my gosh.
$10.
No. Before they Bluetooth?
Before no, they weren't Bluetooth and they didn't, notify you and keep it at one temperature, and it definitely wasn't as pretty.
Yeah, and I don't think the coffee would taste. I think the Bluetooth helps.
Yeah. So you don't want it to just constantly heat because that's going to burn your coffee.
That's right.
And that's, I can get that anywhere.
We need temperature modulation.
Yeah, the temperature modulation is fantastic.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So we got coffee in John's system and it sends out an email. And what's going to be nice about that is it's going to tell you what's changed.
Right.
And when you do an initial search and you get 50 hits, the investment home buying journey, there are some people who can make a decision immediately, but other people who say, hey, I want to just like follow the market.
Mm-hmm.
And or maybe they have extreme parameters. And when they do a search, they get between 0 and 5 results. And they're thinking, okay, I don't care if it takes 6 months. I'm waiting for that day when Rentlyzer sends me a house that meets 100% of my criteria.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That perfect home.
Yeah. And, I think that's going to be what's so cool about it. And I didn't really get to finish the procedure earlier. I wanted to talk about that, but basically, I used to have a spreadsheet on my computer that I would use to go in and I would analyze a house. And I'm sure that I've got it here somewhere. I'll find it.
Yeah, you should. If you can find that, you should pull it up just to contrast.
Yeah, let me do that because it's really here we go. I got one that I can pull up on my computer. And the interesting thing about these spreadsheets is, they work great. Like this thing works extremely well, but it's all manual. And I created this back in like 2010 when I was working with a client who was buying a handful of houses in the Woodlands area. And, we would say, okay, we found this house for $225,000, and I would throw in how much I think the closing costs are going to be and what loan rates are going to be. And then I would go back to the MLS and I would say, well, how much is that house going to rent for? And I would type in, okay, it's going to rent for $1,900. And then it would calculate, if I think it's going to go vacant every other year, it would put half of a leasing commission per year. And then I would put a management fee in there. And then I'd go back to the MLS and I'd say, what were the taxes? And I would type that in. And then I would think, how much is the insurance? And I would type that in. And then I would go back to the MLS and say, does this house have an HOA? And I would type that in, so on and so forth. And, I just walked through that and it took me 30 seconds or a minute to talk about typing all that stuff in, but I didn't go to show how long it took to run a CMA or anything else like that.
Yeah.
And if I could do this, you realistically can't even find and analyze a house on your own faster than, 5 minutes would be fast. 15 minutes is realistic. You're probably going to do like 4 to 6 an hour if you're just like blowing through these houses here.
Yeah. Well, and then you have, you could save that spreadsheet with, I guess, the MLS number so that you don't have to, re-enter it all again. But if you want to go back to it, you got to go find the file and open it up and everything. And if you're on your phone,
can't do it.
Good luck with Excel on your phone.
So yeah, I've tried. It's horrible.
Yeah,
I don't use it.
Yeah.
But fast forward to today, Rentlyzer, even in perfect scenario, phones aren't involved. I'm sitting in my office. We're doing this in what we're searching 18,000 houses in. What was the little dots moving across the screen there? Like 3 seconds?
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy fast.
Yeah.
And, that's part of the coding process is we work on making it faster all the time. So,
yeah.
That's going to continually get faster. And it's, compared to what you just did, it's instantaneous.
It's instantaneous and it's complete.
Yeah.
I think that the only wild card we have right now, I know the only wild card we have is the rental rate. That's the data that's not just given to you by the MLS.
Right.
And so we have a formula in there that's helping us figure that out right now. And I like it, but that's a module that we've talked about improving.
Right. Definitely.
And, so I think that's going to be it's going to be really even more powerful when we know that we can look at this thing and say that rental rate is backed up by these 3 comps.
Yeah.
And something cool for realtors, so this is for realtors and this is also for clients. And a realtor is going to be able to sign up their clients underneath them and keep their realtor's branding. So when, let's say that Jimmy is a client of John and John works at, ABC brokerage. Well, John will create Jimmy an account and it'll have ABC brokerage logo. It'll have ABC brokerage colors. It'll remind Jimmy that John is his broker. And the other cool thing is that we're going to allow the real estate agent to select houses and feed them to their clients and also go in and confirm that the rental rate that Rentlyzer is suggesting is confirmed by that real estate agent. So anytime that one of John's clients views a house, it's going to have like a little check mark or a little badge next to that rental rate, and it's going to say your real estate agent has said that they believe that this house is that this rental rate is appropriate for this house. And I think that not only gives the real estate agent a lot of involvement and control and how the numbers look at the end of the day, but it also gives their clients some confidence that the software is really benefiting them.
Yeah, no, exactly. And if you want to flip over to my screen for a second, I can actually show you.
Yeah, give me just a minute here. The HDMI is catching up. There we go.
All right. Yeah. So this is a new feature that was rolled out. And if you look at, so I'm logged in as the realtor currently, and we can come through and you have different color schemes and whatnot. We have this night blue. I have a Remax client or realtor set up, so I can change my branding to a Remax style branding.
And all your clients would see that.
And all my clients would see that. So I just save that branding right here, and let me pop over to a client account that I have set up, and refreshing that, you can see I've got the new color scheme set up.
It's cool.
So
and also it says your agent down there in the corner.
Yeah,
it would tell them who they are and what their contact information is.
Exactly.
And so the goal here is that this is a way that a realtor and a client can communicate and identify and collaborate on whether or not a house makes sense that they should be looking at it and buying it.
Correct.
And what's really interesting when we've presented this, and Cole and Aimee, I mean, I know y'all been presenting this to people, but what I think is really what we get a lot of feedback from when I ask somebody, how do you find rental houses? They say, well, I go look at the neighborhood, or I go look at the school district, or I find the best elementary school and I look at the floor plan, and all that's extremely important. Like, that is really important stuff. And I think these people are doing a very good job. But I ask them, I say, do you do any sort of financial analysis for your clients? And they just say no. And I'm not saying that no one is doing that. There are definitely people that are doing that. I was doing it before Rentlyzer, But I think that also, we went over this with Adrian the other day, and I said, Adrian, if you were going to buy a rental house, what would be your criteria? And he said, well, I was thinking about turning my house into a rental house, and if the mortgage was $1,250 a month, I would want to make sure that I got $1,250 a month. And I said, okay, well, that makes sense. I said, but if it's going to be vacant for like 1 month a year, and the rental rate is what you're saying is $1,250 a month, then we better tack $100 a month onto that rental rate to make up for that 1 month a year that you're not getting paid. So now you better get $1,350 a month. Mm-hmm. And then I said, what about a management fee at $119 a month? Okay, well, now you better get $1,469 a month. And then I said, well, what about a leasing commission? If that's 1 month rent, we're going to throw another $100 on there. So now we're at $1,569 a month. And then I said, we haven't even talked about maintenance. And let's just say it's another $100 a month while we're at $1,669. So yeah, I get that the check that you write every single month, day in and day out, we're assuming that's escrowed, by the way, at $1,250, taxes and insurance is $1,250. But at the end of 1 year, if all you did was got $1,250 a month for that house, you would have lost like $5,000.
Holy cow.
And a lot of people, they don't get from here to there.
Yeah.
And so Rentlyzer will help you be sure that you're aware that a house is going to have expenses. And, I think that's one of the things that a lot of realtors are they're not fully aware of all those expenses. And the other thing is they don't manage the properties.
Right.
They don't see that stuff.
I always notice everyone just said, oh, we just want it to cash flow.
Yeah.
And that's what Adrian essentially was saying, but he didn't account for everything. And then you say, okay, well, what do you want your return to be?
Yeah.
And no one ever says, oh, I want an IRR of this or, average ROI of this. They just say, oh, I don't know. I just want its cash flow.
And I personally, I own several rental houses, and I do just want them to cash flow.
Right.
But I want them to actually cash flow. I don't want them to cover my loan payment. Or if for some reason I do decide to buy a house and maybe I'm using some unique financing or something where I know that it's going to cost me $100 a month, or I'm going to have to feed it $200 a month for the first few years while the rental rate starts to climb away from the loan payment, I need to at least know that. I would hate to go buy a house and think that it's going to, be a high performer, and then it's not.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what we're trying to accomplish here. So, so John, what else can we save? What if we edit a house? If I edit a house, will it save that information for me?
Yeah. So if you go in and, again, if you decide that there's different numbers that you would rather see in here for a specific house. So this is, you have the initial save of the search, and that pulls all of the search information. But then from the search, if I have 10 different homes on the search and one of the homes I want to save from that search. So it'll pull over the parameters from the search, but then it'll also pull over any parameters that you change from the house. So anything that I go in here and edit.
You might want to update that lease commission.
Yeah, that's
pretty aggressive.
There we go.
I would love to be your real estate agent, though, John. I'm just throwing it out there.
Take care of you. Take care. Yeah, so you'd be able to go in and update. And again, so this right here, this is on my test environment here. As a developer, I see all sorts of things that the end user does not see.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Can you put 2.9% for annual property appreciation?
Can.
That's been sort of the standard lately in the Houston area. Now I've got it on picture in picture. There's not a save box. So if you leave the, if you just type those numbers in, you don't have to hit save or anything. They're just there.
It just automatically saves for you. Yeah.
And
so the next time you pull it up, it's there.
So, okay. So why don't you close that?
Mm-hmm.
And then can we favorite this house?
Yeah, this one's actually already in my favorites.
Okay.
So you do have, you have a list of favorites inside of here. Clicking this little star will put it in your favorites.
Okay.
And that will let you know it's in there. So this one was favorited at one point. It does say pending, continuing to show as the status.
Okay.
So, I don't know, it will show you updates on what's happening with the house as well.
And that'll be in your daily email. It'll say, hey, on this search, there were 50 houses, and 3 of them, the status or price has changed, and there are like 3 new ones.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if if we get to the point where you can tell it I don't like a house, it'll remove that from that search result bucket, right?
Yes.
So if it gives me 50 houses and I click no on 40 of them, I'm going to be left with 10.
You will not get notifications on those 40 anymore.
But if I do a search in that area again, it will show me those houses again.
Correct.
I'm not going to say don't ever show me this house again. I'm just saying for this particular search that I defined, do not show me this house again.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and I mean, in addition to the metrics too, we went over that Excel spreadsheet you had and everything. I mean, all of those numbers are in here if you want to get down to the nitty gritty of it all.
Yeah.
But a great thing with this again is you have all of your different homes and you can visually see. I mean, most people are visual. Most people aren't nerds, I guess. So
they don't just stare at that spreadsheet and they're like, "Yep, that's a good house."
Yeah. They don't see in code.
Right.
So you can come down here and you can see. Here's the full listing of it. I got to tell you, I've been seeing a lot of listings come through with like a 60% return. Like, that's incredible. The first line is flooded in Harvey.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm sure that could be a whole topic right there. About flooded in Harvey homes. But
you bet.
Yeah. So, it'll come through here. It'll tell you the school districts if you're really looking within a specific school district or anything like that. You can see all of the various photos that are available for the homes. So yeah, it does, gives you that visual representation of what you're actually looking at more than just the numbers.
Okay.
But it does give you the numbers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So if we go to your favorites. No, these are your favorites.
These are my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, show me what. So some numbers that you've updated. I'm not recognizing. I don't know which one you updated, but you're saying that the numbers that you manipulated from the original search carried over to your favorites.
Correct.
And they're there now.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. All right. Well, what else? What's in the pipeline here? I mean, what are we working on that? I mean, this is already great. The email, I think, is probably one of the biggest things so that, it's automatic.
Yeah. No, I think email's the biggest thing in the pipeline here. I do know there's a couple of metrics in the formula that we're working on updating to just make everything, as accurate as possible.
Yeah.
Because we don't want this to return, if I go to my dashboard here, I don't want 6,000 matched criteria on my homes. I want that number to be a lot lower because, they're actual homes that, So say with the flooded and Harvey type things, maybe the maximum IRR on that, so that we don't get these crazy ones. But yeah, so, I think as we continue to update the formula, that number should kind of hone in. And, but yeah, that and sending out the emails to everybody, so that you get daily notifications of what's happening with the homes and, the actual change and fluctuation over time as well. So that you can see, hey, this is a home that is in your favorites, or it's one that you've looked at and you're interested in, but it just lowered $5,000.
Right.
So your metrics are going to be better on it. You might want to hop on it.
You bet.
Yeah.
So what if I'm interested in a house? Like, let's say I'm Jimmy and I'm your client.
Mm-hmm.
How do I tell you?
You can shoot me an email, actually. Let me see if so if I come through here and I'm looking at a search, this particular one doesn't have any homes in it yet. It's a fresh account. All right. And again, this is my development one. All right. So if I'm looking at a home here, I can come in here, and right now I can click the email button and it will email my realtor what the home is.
It'll pop up an email.
Yes.
And it'll give them it'll automatically know that Jimmy is a client of John. So it puts John's email address in there.
Correct.
And in the subject line, it also says, hey, let's talk about 205 Sherbrooke Circle.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And it'll give them MLS number as well to, make things easy.
Yeah.
And we'll give them information on, what they need to look at for the home and see if it's actually a good match for their client, if they wanted them to review it further.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so let's say that somebody wants to sign up for Rentlyzer.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen?
All right. Yeah. So you go to Rentlyzer.com.
Okay.
And you can click here. There you go. Scroll down to this login or sign up here. And I'm currently logged in. Let me log out.
Okay.
So this is our login screen. If you don't have an account, just click register here and put in your email, desired password, your name, and selecting your status. So if you are a realtor, click that you are a realtor and you'll be set up as a realtor. If you have a realtor, you can actually put in your realtor's email address and it will search our system for that realtor. If the realtor is in there, it'll match you up with them. If not, it'll let us know that realtor is not in there. So maybe we can contact them and say, hey, your client, they're looking to use the system.
Okay.
And they'd like you to check it out. And if you need a realtor, we can, help match you up with one.
Great. That's really cool. And that works now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Currently live. You can go and sign up and start
Wonderful.
playing around.
Okay. I like that. Well, that's great, man. I really don't even know what else to go over on Rentlyzer right now. I think you touched on everything that it does and the things we're working on immediately right now, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, that's great. So, wonderful.
Yeah, it'll be good. And yeah, I mean, if you're interested in starting to use it now, I mean, we'll be pushing out changes rapidly and constantly, for quite a while. We'll always be adding to the system just to make it easier to use for you.
I know one of the big things that people have asked us for in the searching is to be able to restrict it to only showing active houses on an initial search.
It currently only shows active houses on an initial search.
Okay, well then done. All right.
Yeah. Well, and I guess the only thing we haven't really talked about either is this right here.
Mobile view.
Mobile view. You can look at this from anywhere that you might have your phone and are bored for 15 minutes.
Yeah, okay. That just reminded me of something that came up as a realtor. I mean, the reason that a realtor should consider using this is because let's say that you have met someone at a coffee shop,
mm-hmm.
at your mutual friend's kid's birthday party or something, and they're like, yeah, I've really been thinking about getting into rental houses. And the client Ralph says, I sure would love to buy some rental houses, and I'm interested in buying them with a 12% IRR, and y'all get into talking about that stuff. And
mm-hmm.
And while I say IRR, those are words we talk about around here a lot because we evaluate investment real estate. I have spent a lot of my time familiarizing myself and getting formal education. I'm a certified commercial investment member. I'm a certified property manager. Being a CCIM and a CPM is a specific education track that teaches you how to analyze investment real estate and how to do it properly. And the other cool thing that we have that really benefits us here, I mean, we buy all kinds of different properties. We syndicate investments to buy RV parks and mobile home parks and self-storage facilities. And I consult clients who buy office buildings and shopping centers and anything. But what we have as I think one of the biggest assets that we have as a management company is when an outside broker is offering something for sale. They always provide, generally, if it's an investment property, not necessarily on the MLS, they provide their financial analysis. And we see this all the time where, my dad will send me a mobile home park that he says, hey, I think we should consider buying this. And we've gotten to the point where we both laugh at the omission of expenses or at the embellishment of the occupancy rate or the lack of vacancy.
Yeah.
And, we had this lady one time that sent us a mobile home park in Huntsville. And she said that it had a 20% cap rate or something. Maybe not that high, a 15% cap rate. And FYI, the going cap rate right now for mobile home parks is like 8-9%, somewhere in that ballpark. So my dad and I were like, this doesn't make sense. Looked at the list of expenses and there was no property tax. Called the lady up and said, hey, why didn't you include the property tax on the
wait, hold on. Where don't they do property tax? I might move there in the future.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I'd want to. I mean, as much as we hate paying property tax, like I enjoy having a road that takes me from my house to my office.
Just get a 4-wheeler for it.
Yeah. But anyway, but we talked to the lady and she said, well, yeah, but I talked to somebody and they said you never include income tax on the financial and on the operating expenses of an income property.
Oh man.
And my dad and I were both like, yeah, but there are property taxes. So people don't always know to put that stuff in there.
Yeah.
So whether they don't know that it should be in there or they embellish about it, I think what I was saying is that the biggest benefit we have as a management company is we have the statistics. We know how much it costs to maintain a house. We know how much it costs to maintain a mobile home park. And I've been doing property management for 10 years. And in that experience, in that insight, we have taken that out of my head, out of our software, communicated with you for over a year about what that looks like and modeled it into Rentlyzer.
Oh yeah.
And Rentlyzer is spitting out the proper analysis of real estate. You might not agree with what we're using for a maintenance figure, but you can adjust it. Mm-hmm. The fact that the matter though is it's in there. You might not agree with what the property taxes are. Maybe you're concerned that they're going to shoot through the roof, in the next couple of years, but they're in there. We're not omitting it because we don't think that income tax belongs in a investment analysis.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the nice things about this is that it's done. That it's done properly. Mm-hmm. And I would love to have an opportunity to sit down with any realtor who wants to use this and be sure that they are very aware of all the expenses and the income that this thing's taking into consideration so that they can have that conversation with their client. Mm-hmm. I think that's really going to be important. I'd love to educate as many people as possible about the proper way to evaluate investment real estate. I think that we have a platform now that we can do that. Either on this podcast or through Rentlyzer or anything else. Broadcast. I said podcast, but we're calling it a broadcast because we have video. I don't know if y'all noticed, but there's video.
Oh gosh, there's cameras?
What?
Oh dang.
Yeah.
I should have worn my nicer shirt.
Right. Yeah. Amy's pushing for a hair and makeup room. Maybe we need a wardrobe room also. So
she should have a full budget for that as a personality on this.
How much are you willing to contribute to that, John?
What?
Oh, but this is where I was going with that. The mobile view. Go back to that mobile view there because I think this is really interesting, super interesting. So I have done this. Cole, I think you have done this. Mm-hmm. Aimee, I know you must have done this and working in real estate, but you talk to that person at that party and they say, I'm interested. And you say, okay, well, today is Saturday afternoon at 2:00. When I get back to my office on Monday, I'll go search the area you told me about. I'll go do some comps and I'll go do XYZ. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what every realtor is doing right now. But what if you could just get out your phone while the kids are on the Ferris wheel and you could say, hey, Ralph, why don't I set you up an account on Rentlyzer? I'm going to put all your stuff in here and bang, in 2 minutes, this guy has got a account on Rentlyzer underneath that real estate agent. And it's already showing, not only is it showing him houses that he could consider buying, but they're also in his within his investment criteria, within the area that he said he was looking at, and he can go in and he can cherry pick them and say, well, I just want to make an offer on XYZ house. You know, we've condensed a 2, 3, 4 day process into 2, 3, or 4 minutes.
Yeah. And it's I mean, it's amazing how fast this is and how, you know, quickly you can get it all set up.
It is. I thought that you had I thought for sure when I first did a search that there was no way that it was using my investment defaults for my own search results. I was like, John, are you sure you're applying my settings? Like, I feel like you're just giving me what the database has like universally analyzed. And
you're
like,
making it look nice for you to make you feel better.
Yeah. You're like, nope, it's that fast.
Yeah.
Because I can't believe that my own search results with my own criteria can be analyzed and pumped out to me in 5 seconds. And John can do this, and Cole can do the same thing, and Aimee and John and everyone can do. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's really cool. So
it really is great. And then again, like for a guy like me, I mean, I'm a developer. I'm not a real estate broker or agent or whatever they're called. But you know, and like, but again, like seeing this and knowing that when I do buy a home soon here, you know, if I want to buy an investment home, I can come into this site and put in the criteria that I'm looking for, and mine's going to be really strict because I want a good buy.
Yeah.
You know, I can go through and just kind of wait it out a bit and see what's going to be a good one. And I'm in a position, you know, working for myself and working from anywhere that we can move almost anywhere. And so we can just, you know, find the perfect home for us. And this software will find it for me without having to do a ton of search.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we are very much looking forward to getting the software completed. Well, I mean, complete is a relative term. I mean, it works.
It'll never
be complete. I mean, it's complete to the point that it works right now. I think there's some core functions that we're hoping to roll out very soon, such as the email notifications.
Yeah.
But I just can't wait for people to start using it. And you know, I mean, I am going to use it to find more investment houses. Yeah. Whether I'm buying them, my clients are buying them. You know, I am going to find more houses. And it's also fair to point out the software is free.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to pay anything to use it. I mean, we're in the market managing properties, and we want to manage properties for people who have bought them using Rentlyzer. So, you know, we are arming real estate agents with this tool to make it easier for them to go out and work with their clients or themselves to buy more rental houses. And we would love to manage those houses. And that is the simple relationship that we have here. And that is why the software exists.
Yeah.
So, okay, wonderful. Well, John, we are so thankful to have you on the show here, and I would love to have you on again.
Yeah.
And
thanks for maybe in I don't know, 10 months or so here.
Well, I think yeah. Oh, you know what? We were going to talk about your channel. John has a YouTube channel also.
Oh gosh,
where are you headed, John? Tell us. Just give us a few minutes here.
Tell us why we
talk to us. Tell us why we have only a rare opportunity to be in the studio with you.
Yeah. So my wife and I and our 5 kids that are
5.
Yeah, 5 between 3 and 12 or 11. He's almost 12. But yeah, so we actually sold everything we owned a while back and decided we were going to travel for a while and kind of be vagabonds. And you know, like I said, I work from anywhere with my laptop and internet.
Yeah, as long as you have good internet.
As long as I have good internet, I've actually. So we're traveling. We're not doing RVs and stuff because I'm not going to pack 7 people and do an RV and travel around for a long extended period of time. I'm not that good of a person, but yeah, we're staying in Airbnbs and this new thing we found called Trusted House Sitters. But
Wait, that's different than Airbnb. I mean, I thought you were Mr. Airbnb.
Well, I was Mr. Airbnb, but then we found this trusted house sitters thing. And you pay like a yearly membership to be a part of this community. And it's people that want to travel and have pets, and they leave their pets behind, and they need somebody to stay at their home and take care of their pets. And we love pets, and that's one of the things we've kind of missed since traveling. So we used
to
have,
neat angle,
50 chickens and a dog and all that kind of stuff. So that's another podcast.
So hold on, I have to tell so John being the software developer of the past 20 years, and Mr. High Tech, like everything.
Love it.
We had a bunch of trash that we were trying to get rid of like 6 or 8 months ago, and I was talking to Adrian about which dumpster we were going to have him go put it in, and John said, "You city people, why don't you just burn it?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, the guy who's like the software developer is calling me the city person.
I know. No, I like to think of myself as a good old Texas boy, but that also, codes. But yeah, I love it. Whenever we settle down, it's going to be on land where I can see my fields and own chickens and maybe a cow or two to get some hamburger meat. But
nine computer screens and I'll see everything beyond the computer screens.
Yeah. My hopefully gigabyte internet and stuff.
There you go.
That. Yeah,
I love that.
One day.
So you guys are going to use both services, Airbnb and trusted
house sitters. Yeah.
I was thinking about the movie The Holiday with that blonde girl where she goes to like some other country and then the other person comes here to Hollywood. And I think that they do leave their pets behind.
Yeah. That little Switch Christmas movie.
Yeah,
I remember.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a good one. And I think Jack Black was in that too.
Wasn't he is.
Gosh, he's a great actor.
Cameron Diaz. Yeah, and the other one. Jack Black's hilarious.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool. So you're leaving Thursday.
We're leaving Thursday. We did the whole East Coast over the past 8 months or so. Went and saw the big places to see with a homeschooling family and, Washington, D.C. and whatnot. And we decided this time around we were going to hit the West Coast, get some, California sun and everything. But we're kicking off our West Coast tour up in Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah. So Thursday we were heading straight up to Minnesota. I'm pulling out my phone here to see that this is
the temp. I'm sure you're going to tell us the temperature up there.
This is a favorite pastime of mine.
When that polar vortex came through a few weeks ago, John was like, "Yeah, it's -40 where I'm heading next month."
Yeah, that was without the wind chill. So we're going to be arriving in Minnesota on Friday. The high is 21, low of 17.
Gosh.
Oh, it's actually gotten better.
That's cold, but it's not like brutal cold.
Yeah,
that's brutal. That's brutal. That's brutal.
So
that's true.
The first
All
Monday,
right, I'll give you that.
The first Monday we'll be there. It's a high of 15, a low of 1. The next day is a high of 11, and then it's a high of 8, and it gets into the negatives for the lows. And it's getting worse. It's getting worse. I think we have another polar thing coming.
So the closer we get to summer, the worse, the colder it gets up there.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
Kind of opposite. But no, I'm hoping to see some snow with the kids and everything, though. But
as Cole's brother Jay always likes to say, when someone says that it's cold in a room, he'll go, "Yeah, because cold air always goes to the back of a room."
I'm gonna have to think through that one. I need my coffee. Hold on.
It's not true. He just says it to see if somebody's wheels start turning, and they're like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So, all right, man. Well, what's your channel called? What's your YouTube channel called?
McMullen Moments.
McMullen Moments.
Yeah.
All right, everybody look it
We'll
up.
have a link in our bio.
Yeah, we'll put a link down there.
Whenever I'm not crazy busy working, I push out videos of our travels, and we've got 100 or so up there now. So take a while to get through them, but
okay.
Yeah, it's a fun little spot if you want to see a crazy family running around the world.
I love it. Well, on that note, I think I'm going to play us out here. And this has been an excellent inaugural broadcast.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to doing many more. Maybe we'll get you in on Skype when you get settled in, and we'll talk about where you're headed.
All right.
So, all right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Okay.
Thank you.